Hello, and welcome to the 5-Minute University topic on the 1-Minute Preceptor. This presentation is brought to you by Sina Haynes from the University of Mississippi School of Pharmacy. One constant across all areas of healthcare is the extensive pressure on our time. Preceptors face additional time pressures when trying to balance a fast-paced workday with providing effective and efficient teaching with feedback in a clinical environment. So the question of the day is, how can one teach well, quickly, in a real-world setting? The answer, the 1-Minute Preceptor model. The 1-Minute Preceptor model of teaching has been promoted by many as an effective way to teach when time is a huge constraint. Teaching in a very short block of time, essentially 1 minute, is a very effective and efficient way to facilitate learning. One particularly important message with this approach is that effective teaching can take place on the fly, even when a larger block of teaching time simply is not possible. And there is evidence to support this approach. For example, one study noted statistically significant changes in a number of behaviors, including doing outside reading and increasing feedback. In addition, 87% of the participants rated the intervention as useful or very useful. The 1-Minute Preceptor model is based on 5 micro skills. The primary goal is to get the learner engaged in the learning process. So what are these steps? First, get a commitment. After the learner has provided you, the preceptor, the background information, ask the learner what they think about the case and what course of action is recommended. For learning to take place, it is important for the learner to take a stance and make a commitment. That said, sometimes the stance taken is simply a guess or a quick statement. Step 2 of the 1-Minute Preceptor model is to ask for supporting evidence, the why of their commitment. Here, the learner must provide backup information or evidence, which also gives you the opportunity to see the foundation for the commitment. At this point, you have a commitment and some supporting evidence. The next step in the learning process is to reinforce correct thinking and correct any errors in incorrect thinking. The extent to which these two come into play is based heavily on the learner and the information the learner provided. It is important to establish and maintain a culture that correcting errors is not synonymous with bad thinking. The concept here is to teach the student to take risks, make commitments, and then learn from incorrect information when that occurs. The final step is for you to quickly teach a general rule. Take into account the specific facts of the given case and your expertise. This is the opportunity to explain to the learner some overall or general tendencies pertaining to which has been proposed. Mostly, this last step is a great time for you as a teacher to model good thinking for the learner. In summary, the 5 steps of the 1-Minute Preceptor are: get a commitment. Ask learners, what do you think is going on, or what else have you considered? Step 2, probe for supporting evidence. Ask questions like, what do you think this relates to, or what is your evidence to support this? Step 3, reinforce what was done well and the effect that it had. Step 4, correct errors and give guidance about mistakes and how to improve for next time. Finally, teach a general principle. And maybe most importantly, this should take 1 to 2 minutes. The key here is efficiency. The 1-Minute Preceptor is not a 20-minute discussion. There are many ways the 1-Minute Preceptor can be adopted and adapted to your teaching and circumstances in which you teach. If you have not tried this method before, give it a go, and then talk to your learners about the ways to adapt. One thing for certain, any conversation about this topic provides interesting new considerations for engaging learners in the process, particularly when you only have 1 minute or 2. This concludes our time for 5-Minute University. After completing a short survey on the next page, you can access the handout full of additional resources on this topic.